everybody, it's Trent again on a late night between feeding the baby and just kind of winding down here. But I wanted to make a quick video for you guys to kind of explain why I do the stretches to the opposite side. Now, people want to understand the mechanism for why, when I have an issue here in my shoulder and I want to get more range of motion, why wouldn't I just want to crank on that joint and just keep it going further and further? Well, in my experience, what I've done is I've tried to show people when they work here, I try to see how far they can go. And then I'll try to look at other places in the body. It could be rotation through the trunk, it could be a leg raise. But I will do some sort of movement somewhere else in the body. Usually if the other side is feeling good with the arm, and this is the main limitation, I'll go with this other side arm raise, okay? And so what I'll do is have them hold it for a couple sets of 20 seconds and then retest and see what happens and see if it goes a little further. Really, you won't really understand this really until you see this in the clinic and you see this yourself and you try it yourself. It's really important for you to really go into these movements and practice them. But oftentimes I'll see that motion that may have been here at the beginning, now you're up here. And the only thing you did since the last time you tried to raise that arm was this arm raise, okay? So that should lend to you a good example of why, or what's going on over here, that this movement did have some bearing, most of the bearing of why this movement got better, okay? So, because it's the only thing that you did since the last time you checked it, okay? So, that's usually good enough for people to understand that, and when you feel it, you go, okay, I understand, I got to work over here, and that's going to be helpful. People want to know why. They think with just kind of stretching it, or even thinking about getting this side stronger, if this side's weaker, I need to strengthen it. Oftentimes our body's off kilter. Balance is key. We need to keep everything balanced between left side of the body and right side of the body, top side of the body, bottom side of the body, and front and back. If things are off kilter, if they're off symmetry, then things will appear weaker. It's like one side of your body's pushing uphill and the other one's pushing downhill, so it's going to be easier on the other side. So we're trying to unwind tension in the body. Oftentimes when you're raising up an arm over here, what's happening is you can see this side of the body gets stretched, this side of the body gets shortened. This comes from a concept in strain counterstrain. Basically, that says if something is crooked, you want to make it crookeder. And the idea is when you have relative shortening of an area that's tight, you get an unwinding of tension that are around the fibrils of the muscle, okay? Very microscopic level, they've seen this happen. So it's a really easy effect to have you do something over here to release this area. It's much less painful. It's really easy to do. To kind of go over here and just kind of loosen up here to see what happens over here. I use the arm raise as a good example, but it can be used in any other part of the body, in the back or the legs or anything. So it's really worth going over. Definitely not an ordinary thing, not conventional at all. Most therapists will just have you try to work this area and just crank on the joint, try to get it further. I don't tend to do that. I try to work as much as I can the opposite side, try to integrate the whole body, get everything lined up, and that's going to help your body heal much faster than trying to force something. Not to say that stretching is bad for you, it's just about a case of good, better, best. When you have a better way to do something and you can do it with less pain, you're going to have better compliance, you're going to do it more often, okay, and it's going to feel easier to do, and you're going to get the results you want, which is in the end more movement, more function. That's what we all want. So why not do it? And as long as you're not hurting anything over here, you know, you can do either stretches or repetitions with a weight or something. I'll go into that more in some other videos, instructing the exact forms of the exercises that we do. But that's the big gist of what we're doing. Behind me you can see Anatomy Trains. They talk about the muscles and how they connect from foot all the way to the head. And so sometimes when you're working down the legs, that can have the biggest bearing going on the neck, or something in your hip can have a huge bearing on the shoulder. So really looking at the whole body, understanding that just because the pain isn't there doesn't mean that this problem in my hip doesn't have something to do with it. So keep your minds open to all these things. It really does make a ton of sense when you get to looking at everything and the science behind everything. How the whole fascial system is this whole thing. If I move something here, it's going to move over here. So we need to look at how all these things connect and work to create the issues we have, and how we can use the knowledge of using our good side to put you back into the way we need it to be. So I hope this video is informative. Please let me know of anything else you want to learn about, but I'm going to try to keep my brain open to give you as much good information to help you improve your pain in any way you can. So get after your health like you mean it, and happy healing, and good night.